If you're not familiar with the Kuleshov effect, don't worry, you'll learn as the video progresses. On the other hand, if you are familiar with it, feel free to nerd out with me. Today, I'm going to talk about Elia Suleiman's 2002 feature, Divine Intervention. Elia Suleiman has such creativity and elan when it comes to visuals that I can't even oversell the guy. I mean, he knows exactly how long to rest on a shot for, which shot to cut to, and how exactly he's going to transition to it. He really works his balls off when it comes to framing and editing. But it's really this one scene that I want to talk about, which demonstrates more than anything not only his visual filmmaking prowess, but also one of the most important theories in the history of cinema, in the pantheon of cinematic literature, the Kuleshov effect. While the film itself features a generally monotonous romance, a few allegorical instances of generally absurd humor, as well as an ambivalent ending to back it all up, this scene itself requires none of that context. All you need to know is that Elia Suleiman, playing also Elia Suleiman, it's weird, is on the way to see his dying dad in a hospital in Jerusalem. Obviously, it's occupied territory of Palestine. On the way there, though, he comes across this little thing, which is just foreshadowing for what's to come next. But he also sees this settler pull up, which he takes notice of quite soon after. Upon taking notice of the settler, of course, Elia Suleiman quickly pulls out a wacky little cassette tape and starts blasting a cover of, I believe it's called I Put a Spell on You. It's a Middle Eastern cover of the song because, of course, it is. It's got real fun vibes to it. Please listen to it.
I put a spell on you, 'cause you're mine. La 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 la, you better stop the things you do. I ain't lying. La 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 la, I ain't lying. I can't stand it. You're running around. I can't stand it when you put me down. La 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 la, and it's a heartache. Because you're mine.
The chorus is swelling up into this massive, grandiose crescendo. These two are gonna paint the town red very clearly. They want to hurt one another so bad. And no sooner than you know it, the film cuts to this. Pause right here. Right off the bat, the scene showcased a pretty decent understanding of visual storytelling. I mean, the overall framing and blocking of the shit was pretty competent. The usage of shot reverse shot was unlike the way it is used in mainstream movies, and it actually kind of built up a pretty good chunk of tension, I would say. Even that wide shot, I mean, of all the cars reposed behind our Palestinian and Israeli was just a subtle dose of genius, because what it shows beyond anything is how much progress is really held back by these disputes we choose to partake in. However, the Kuleshov effect has not been displayed as of yet. It is yet to enter into the clip that I used. That's because just I want you to guess. Any normal viewer would assume that the shot of the two hands belongs to the Israeli and the Palestinian. However, the film quickly goes on to reveal this. That's right. If you already knew what the Kuleshov effect was, just thank you so much for bearing with my tangent. If, however, you still don't have an idea of what it really does, here's some backstory for you. So, in this quick history lesson, we're going to learn about Lev Kuleshov, who was a film theorist merely disguised as a filmmaker back in the USSR. His little thesis was that meaning is not created in either shot A or shot B, but in the interplay between shots, in the cut between shots A and B. To prove this, he set up a little film reel which looks something like this. Kuleshov's little cinematic experiment consisted of the following. It was just shots of a blank face contrasted with the shot of, well, anything. His main thesis, or his main conclusion from this thesis, was that acting itself is not the progenitor of meaning. The actor is secondary to the cut, that their blank expression takes on a completely new form depending on what it is they are reacting to. It is not their reaction in shot A, or rather in this case, shot B, that conveys some kind of meaning. It is what was already established in shot A, like that little doll or that little plate of food. You can come up with examples of your own. Notice how I completely downplayed the efficiency of the Kuleshov effect by utilizing a static diagram, just an image, instead of the actual effect. And if I was to cut to something else, you'd be doubly frustrated. The strange part is, now you feel a lot more annoyed by my sudden presence, my jump into the frame, even though there's nothing about this image that separates me from the previous me, the opening image of this video. In fact, after negating the Kuleshov effect, or by downplaying the Kuleshov effect or not allowing it to emerge, I am now demonstrating it in my own weird way. I mean, nothing about this image separates it from the previous one. The color codes are the same, even though the white balance is probably going off guard, and the fucking this composition is all the same. Even these stupid pair of sunglasses remain exactly the same. What has changed is context, the interplay between images. That is the key thesis of Lev Kuleshov, and that is why I, among many others, millions of others in fact, revere him as much as we do. Now, so as to not be a complete asshole, let me actually demonstrate the Kuleshov effect in a far simpler form through, well, one of its several iterations created by one of its thousands or perhaps even millions, as I said, fans. Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, that's right. He actually gave a pretty decent lesson in film editing back in the day, and he explained the Kuleshov effect with his Hitchcockian humor, which we all expect from that guy. His little take on the thing goes something like this.
Now we have a close up. Let me show what he sees. Let's assume he saw a woman holding a baby in her arms. Now we cut back to his reaction to what he sees, and he smiles. Now what is he as a character? He's a kindly man. He's sympathetic. Now, let's take the middle piece of film away, the woman with the child, but leave his two pieces of film as they were. Now we'll put in a piece of film of a girl in a bikini. He looks, girl in a bikini, he smiles. What is he now? The dirty old man. He's no longer the benign gentleman who loves babies. That's the difference. That's what film can do for you.
Back to Suleiman, as well as the very title of this video, which has not been addressed as of yet. We've explained the Kuleshov effect, but I haven't yet explained why this particular instance is my favorite. And that's because, well, Hitchcock merely told us how the Kuleshov effect gives us answers. What Suleiman does in his film is show us how the Kuleshov effect can raise just as many questions as it has answered in the past few minutes. Really, what I like about his usage of the Kuleshov effect is that it embodies the life of Palestinians and all the rhetoric surrounding them. I mean, he doesn't use the cut to tell us anything. He merely infers something and then questions the legitimacy of what was inferred. By cutting to that little shot of the two hands, he's signifying to us that there might be something violent going on between the Israeli and the Palestinian, when in reality, there's nothing of the sort. It's just a simple, down to earth act between Suleiman and his father. To me, it represents a plethora of things. I think of it as the way in which the media manipulates our perception of Palestinians. Really, when you look at mainstream media these days, it's painting the most humane, down to earth people as being some fucking secret Hamas soldiers who know Taekwondo combat or whatever. It's a bunch of crap. What I really like about this cut is that it embodies that crap. It embodies the creation of that crap. It embodies the creation of that rhetoric. It tells us how easy it is to fall for this little phenomenon where you yourself end up demonizing the most precious people. Someone else might have a different interpretation of it. Someone else might get out of their seat and yell, well, the Zionist empire is to be taken down. What this scene tells us is the greatest act of violence against it is that of Palestinian unity. The two hands at first signify a very violent, destructive event for us, while the reveal that it is actually uh, Suleiman with his dad is more so telling of the fact that this violent deconstruction of the Zionist empire, of the Zionist regime, can only come after an act of solidarity, after years and years of unity and oneness. Whatever you say about this effect and the way it's used here, one thing is clear: it's not saying anything on its own. It's making you question. Kuleshov's thesis was that of delivering answers through the cut. Suleiman has completely flipped it on its head. Suleiman shows us answers and then uses the cut to make us question if they're really answers at all. After all, our assumption that it was a thoroughly violent act going on before our eyes was completely subverted. That is brilliant, and that is exactly why I love the Kuleshov effect. Incidentally, the Kuleshov effect is also why I love cinema. Really, you can click off the video now, but this is my first video, and it's pretty weird just recording this all alone in my room, where I'm pretty sure like my family members outside can hear me, but it's a little bit weird. I mean, I did mess up a few times in here, and this video has already been in the works for a very long time, so I can't remove every little mistake. And it's not that I want to. I'm not some perfectionist. I just wanted this to be a passionate rant about one of my favorite scenes ever. And I'd like to end this video by saying the Kuleshov effect isn't always necessary, and it isn't the only tool of visual storytelling. To quote Guy Hocaquenghem, whatever French name, I'll put the name down in the comments, as well as the full quote that I really like. He once said that nature is not a conglomerate of laws, it is only a conglomerate of phenomena. I think this may very well be applied to cinema. There is no real law of the Kuleshov effect, and there's no real way in which it is to be used. In fact, there might even be a movie which does not use the Kuleshov effect at all, or uses it as little as possible. Really, these questions will be answered later on in life as I discover more and more movies to talk about. What I like about cinema is its ability to raise these exact questions, though. Thank you so much.